There is this 5-letter word that we hesitate to use, but at the same time, we want and expect others to tell us. There was this one man who used the word sorry not just once, but hundreds of times, not for his wrongdoings, but for the wrongdoings of the institution that he believed in, which restored faith and humanity. Yet another beautiful day, and welcome once again to the 8th episode on the attitudes for effective communication. This is the episode where we discuss on one key attitude one has to develop to be an effective communicator, the attitude of being apologetic. In the episode on perception, where we found out how perception kills and perspective understands, we found out how the perception of the society in the 1600s and of the church put Galileo under house arrest eventually until his death. In 1992, 359 years later, Pope John Paul II publicly apologized for the condemnation of Galileo and the church's errors. During his reign as the head of the Roman Catholic Church, he apologized hundreds of times for the wrongdoings of the church. We all would have heard about the saying, "To err is human and to forgive is divine." Pope John Paul II, through his public apologies, changed this forever. To err is human and to apologize is divine. Through his attitude of being apologetic, he was able to restore the faith of millions of people across the world back to the church, and he was canonized as a saint in April of 2014. From the episode where we learned why it is important to develop perspectives over perception, we found out that perception is a story that we have created. It is the story that we believe is the only truth. And the big question here is, how do you think one can apologize for a story one believes in? Forget apologizing on behalf of the organization or the institution that you believe in as a leader. But my question is, would you apologize for the mistakes you have done genuinely? To bring some light and clarity to subscribers and followers of the video series, Attitudes for Effective Communication, I have a humble request. Those who have read my book, How Leaders Communicate to Win, would identify the book as a modular one where each chapter can be read as a standalone. The episodes in the video series, Attitudes for Effective Communication, can be watched as a standalone, like a modular book. But if you aspire to be an effective communicator and communicate like a leader, I would highly recommend you watch all the episodes from beginning today, because you will find a pattern, a step-by-step process on different attitudes one has to develop to communicate effectively. If you look back on the first episode, we discussed on why it is important to develop an attitude of happiness. Now, to develop an attitude of happiness, one needs to be calm and composed. Because only when you're calm and composed, you can identify that if you are speaking on the basis of perception or perspective. Now, when you start speaking on the basis of perspective, you develop a sense of clarity in what you do. And it is with this sense of clarity that one can develop an attitude of being apologetic to oneself and to others. It was a lovely, beautiful morning when I had this conversation with Matt, and that lasted only for a few seconds. Matt wasn't in for a normal conversation. He was angry and frustrated and didn't compromise to vent out his anger with the words and language he used until I gave out the second and final warning, as in the process that we do, where I would end the conversation for him permanently. And that final warning ended up in a pause for a few seconds for both of us, where we could regain our calmness and composure. Remember, we spoke about the 3-second pause rule that you need to follow to have conversation not based on your reptilian brain and to bring back your calmness and senses to have productive conversations. More often in life, where we are angry and frustrated or emotional, we tend to forget what the root cause or the problem is. And we tend to react on the basis of the outcomes of the actual problem. After a few seconds of pause, Matt was able to regain his calmness and composure, and he started communicating. We had a constructive discussion after that. He had a genuine issue. The problem he faced was something that could be solved. I assured Matt and boosted his confidence and told him that we will resolve the issue, but it can take time and you will need to be patient for the same. The good thing about the conversation with Matt was that after he told what the problem he was facing, he had both ears wide open to me because he wanted to listen the resolve for the issue he was facing, the next line of actions that were to be taken, and the steps he had to follow to get it finally resolved for good. But the best part of the conversation came after that, where he wholeheartedly apologized once he had clarity on what the situation was and why it had happened. It was a small mistake from Matt's end that happened a long time ago that created the issue because it was having a ripple effect, and he didn't hesitate to apologize for the words he used. The beauty of the conversation was the outcome that happened eventually, where we became amazing friends, though it started off in a rough patch with ugly words and languages used. The multiple follow-ups that we had to do to resolve the issue permanently restored the credibility and respect I had for this guy. Being apologetic restores credibility and gains respect. Develop an attitude of being apologetic to yourself and to the others around you to regain respect and credibility. Comment below your thoughts and your takes on why it is important to develop an attitude of being apologetic, and I'll see you in the next episode on Attitudes for Effective Communication, possible with JB.